Hello everyone! Today we're going to work on this beautiful zigzag pattern, chevron pattern blanket. And as you can see, sometimes the colors change in the middle of the row, but it honestly looks really nice depending on the different sections you look at. It's just such a lovely pattern. Alright, so to get started with our chevron pattern, we're going to use our Karen cotton cakes here from Yarnspiration, and it is our beautiful hydrangea color, and it is a number 4 on the weight scale. So we're going to use our 4.5mm crochet hook to go ahead and make this pattern. Now we're going to do this pattern without, as I said before, we're going to do it without the foundation chain. So this one's going to be a little bit different. If you don't want to do it without the foundation chain, you can start by chaining 199 chains and then go ahead and start your pattern from there. But we're going to do it right now without the foundation chain. So if you want to skip ahead, I will put a chapter in that start with row 2 on our pattern. Okay, so skip ahead to that if you want to do your 199 chains for this pattern. Okay, now the pattern itself is 28 stitches in a multiple. All right, so we're going to start here with our chain 3. Everything on this pattern is going to be done in double crochet. So we're either going to be doing 2 or 3 double crochets in one stitch, or we're going to be doing double crochet 3 together. If you're unfamiliar with how to do the double crochet 3 together, go ahead and check out the video I've posted up in the corner because it will have that information in it, okay? And it will teach you how to do just that stitch. A double crochet 2 together, double crochet 3 together, and then of course single crochet 2 together as well. All right, so let's get to it. So we have 3 chains. We're going to yarn over, we're going to insert our hook back into the first one like we would normally do for a foundation chain. This beginning of this pattern is actually going to be started with 3 double crochets in our first stitch. So we're going to use our 2 chains from the beginning of the row as our first one. Then we're going to do 1 more, and then we're going to do a 3rd, just double crocheting right into that first chain from our slip knot. Now there we have our 3 stitches. Now we're going to do a foundation double crochets now. So we're going to do 10 of those. We're going to come back into that first loop, yarn over, draw up a loop. Now we're going to come through just the first one as we would do in a foundation stitch. Check out the video I've posted below in the description if you would like to know how to do foundation stitches nice and slow. We're not going to go extremely slowly on this video because it's already been posted in the previous one. So check that out, okay? Give this video a pause, jump over to that one, learn how to do that, and then come back, okay? We're gonna do 10 foundation double crochets down our chevron. So there we have 2. All right, so there we have our 10 stitches, and now we have our 3 at the beginning in our first chain. Now we have 10 double crochets just straight. Now we need to do 2 foundation double crochet 3 together. So this is going to be a little bit different than what we learned in the previous video where we talked about the double crochet 3 togethers. We're going to do the foundation chain first, okay? So we're going to yarn over, come down through the loop, yarn over, draw through the first one, just the first one on our hook to create the foundation chain, and then draw through the second. Now we're going to yarn over again, come back down, yarn over, draw up our foundation chain, yarn over, come down through the foundation chain, draw up our loop, come through just the first one to create our new foundation chain, yarn over, and come through 2. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. That's two stitches together. So now we want to do 1 more. So we're going to yarn over, come down again through the foundation chain, draw up our loop, yarn over again, draw through just the first one to create the next foundation chain, and then yarn over, draw through 2. And now what we can see happening here is we have 3. So we have 1, 2, 3 stitches here, yarn over, draw through all 3 of them, and the initial chain from our hook. And I usually tighten things down just a touch there to make sure everything stays nice and tight. All right, let's do that one again because we do need 2 for the pattern, but it is always good let's show this one more time, okay? So our foundation chain is right here. There's our foundation chain stitch, so we're going to go ahead and insert our hook into that stitch. And we're going to yarn over, draw up our first loop, yarn over, make our foundation chain right there, yarn over. All right, first half of the double crochet, and now we're going to yarn over again. Come back in the bottom, which is right there. Okay, yarn over, create our foundation chain. All right, so now right there, now we have 2 stitches, yarn over, come back into the foundation, yarn over, make our foundation. First half of our double crochet, now we have our 3 stitches, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and then yarn over and draw through all 4 loops, okay? So our foundation chain is still here. That's the one that we created with our stitch right there. So now we're going to yarn over, and now we're going to do 10 more foundation double crochets to come up the other side of the chevron, okay? So there's our chain, and then there we are, finishing off our double crochet, okay? So now coming back into that loop right there. Finish off our double crochet. Now we're going to continue going until we have 10 double crochets on their own, not including those double crochet 3 togethers that we just finished. So there we have 1, 2, 3. And so we're going to go do 10, and then I'll be back in just a second to go ahead and do the top half of the points of the chevron, okay? All right, so now what we're looking at here is basically, if you look at it here, there's our lower part of the V for our chevron, and now we're going to go ahead and do the top one, which is what we did over here at the very beginning, but we're going to go over it just again, that way you've got an idea of how to do it in the middle of the blanket, okay? So yarn over, come down into our foundation stitch, yarn over, draw up our loop, make our foundation chain, finish our double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 more into that same double crochet before we make another foundation chain, okay? So just 2 straight double crochets in here into that foundation chain from the beginning of this stitch. All right, so now we're going to make 3 into that one, basically. All right, so there you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 all into this one chain. And now we're going to yarn over, come back down and through, make a foundation chain for our next stitch over, and finish our double crochet. This one again is going to have 3 double crochets in it, so we're going to make 2 more. And then we're going to continue down along the next side, the same as we did at the very beginning of the row. So go ahead and give the video a pause here, and we're going to go ahead and continue working along our blanket, and I will be back in a moment to go ahead and go over row number 2. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start our next row. We've started with a chain 2 here, and now we're going to go ahead and add 2 more double crochets into that first chain, or the first stitch from the end of the previous row. That's going to give us a nice straight edge as we work up along the side. And now we're going to work into the next one down the side. We're going to do 10 double crochets. And then at the bottom, we're going to work our double crochet 3 together that we did for our initial row, but it's not a foundation chain, of course, this time. So it's just going to be our double crochet 3 together. Okay, so there's our 10. So now we're going to do our double crochet 3 together into our corner down to the bottom here. So we're going to yarn over, down, increase, or into the first stitch, draw up our first, through our first 2 loops and hold on to the next one. Now we're going to work down, draw up another loop, off our yarn over and do 2 again. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to do it one more time in between our 2 stitches. And there we go. So we've done the first half of each of our double crochets, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3, making all 3 of those stitches into 1 stitch. All right, so again, half of the first double crochet, half of the second, and then half of the third, and draw through all 3 to finish off our double crochet 3 together, and then we're going to do 10 more double crochets up to the top of the chevron. And then in each of our top stitches at the top of our chevron, we're going to do 3 double crochets into each of the 2 top peak stitches. All right, so here's our 10 stitches up to the top. Now we can see here's our group of 3 from the previous row, and we're going to go ahead and add 3 right into the last one of the previous cluster of 3. So we go 1, oops, 2, and 3, and then we're going to go 3 right into the next one to finish off our peak at the top of our chevron. 2 and 3. Okay, and now we're going to go 10 double crochets down the side, and we're going to repeat that like that. Okay, so we do 10 on each of the edge of each of the straight sections, and then our bottom peak is 2 double crochet 3 togethers, and on our peaks it's 3 double crochets in the very peak, just like we did. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue doing that. Now you can continue as long as you'd like, so you can decide how wide and how long you want your blanket to be. That's completely up to you. If you followed our foundation tutorial at the beginning of this video, then you can definitely, you know, alter how wide your blanket is. Or of course, if you modified yours based on using the 28 stitches repeat that I mentioned at the beginning, that's definitely possible as well, to modify your sizing, right? So if you want to kind of make it smaller into a baby blanket or larger to fit a bed, then you can definitely do either of those things, right? You just want to make sure you have lots of yarn. I currently have about 4 balls of this Caron Cakes, and we're going to see how far that gets us. So that's going to take a while to go ahead and get this blanket finished, but you will see it at the beginning of the video. You will have already seen it finished at the beginning of the video, because that is how we do this. We do the tutorial and then we show the finished product at the very beginning. I hope you guys enjoy it that way. And if you like what we're doing here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we have tons more knit and crochet videos. We're going to try to stick towards the beginner style of the videos. So if you are new to knitting and crocheting, then go ahead and hit subscribe. Or if you're an intermediate and you really just want to learn some new skills, that's definitely, you know, great too, because we're going to definitely show some intermediate style skills. So stick around, hit that subscribe button. There's definitely a place for you here with us. All right, and don't forget to hit that like button. And if there's anything specific you're looking for us to show on the channel, go ahead and leave us a comment down below, because we can definitely do a video first if you're looking for something specific.